Hello there, folks. Frank Zorrilla here, Zor Capital, the 5th of January. Happy New Year. I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks, or 2 weeks. So this might be a long one, but I think it'll be well worth it. First and foremost, New Year started. If anyone has an interest in my Managed Assets program, email me, fzorrilla@zorcapital.com. I'll provide the email underneath the video. So what we're going to do today, it's just go over my rolling 5-day watch list, which is my best barometer for the health of the market, which is, the market's been doing well, individual stocks have been doing well. And just to let you know, those who have never seen any of my videos, I manage money for individual clients, okay, through Interactive Brokers. I run a hybrid approach. I have some passive ETFs, which are my core holdings, and then with a piece of the portfolio, I have swing strategies, and that's how I look to outperform the market with these swing opportunities, and also by avoiding huge drawdowns when the market goes down, if it ever does ever again. I'm a big believer that in the short term, the market, stocks move in momentum bursts that might last 3 to 5 days, and that's exactly what I'm looking to take advantage of. Okay, so before we get started, let me just mention some things. Roku is a stock that we got involved right over here and also right over here, and the stock went down big on a couple of downgrades. And sometimes on the Twitter stream, you see people say, this is just a shakeout. Well, you don't know what a shakeout is until after the fact, okay? If you sell something like I did, I sold some Roku at 57, sold the rest at a small loss. A shakeout would be if the stock goes back above my last sale price. That'll be a shakeout. If it continues to go down, it's definitely not a shakeout. It's just a failure of a setup. So you don't know what a shakeout is until after the fact. That's just the bottom line. And the determining factor to know that is the price action. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people ask me about my scans. Look, I go through stocks every single day, maybe 1,000. I have a few different scans. Most of the names are redundant. They come out in every single scan. My number one scan would be the top 500 names based on momentum, the highest momentum or the best performing stocks in the last 6 months. I also look at stocks that printed an inside day. I believe that in the short term, what matters the most is momentum and also mean reversion. What do I mean by mean reversion? I mean this: stocks down 3 days in a row or more, that's mean reversion. Normally, what happens is when you see this type of setup in a strong stock like a Roku, you typically get bounces. So again, I believe that in the short term, what matters the most is momentum and mean reversion. Okay, so let's go through the list here. This is from 1228 WB. This row over here is the high of the day, the previous day, and what we're looking for is we're looking to put a buy stop 10 cents above the previous day high. In this case, it was 109.76, so the buy stop is 109.86, which is right over here on 1228. So here we had a stock where we just talking about mean reversion. Stock is down 3 days in a row. I got along here going through this high at 105.12. Where's it? 105.12? Let's see here. 12 to 105. So either way, I got involved right over here, going through this high. The stock just took off, took all of it off right over here on the way up. I'm a big believer that you have to sell stocks on the way up. And if you're concerned about leaving some cash on the table, if the stock continues to run higher, what you do is, my suggestion would be that you leave some on until the market takes you out via going to the previous day low or breaking a simple moving average like the 10-day or 20-day moving average. Dick's DKS, got involved in this stock a couple of times, right over here, going through this high here, stopped out, got back involved right over here, stock made a move immediately, got stopped out, and now it's back. This is what you call a shakeout, okay? You can say here that I was shaken out of this stock twice, right over here and right over here, okay? Soho This will also be considered a shakeout. Got involved with the stock right over here, went up immediately, went back through my breakout day low, got stopped out, got rid of it, and now it's back above. This is what you consider a shakeout. And another lesson from this Soho is that in the short term, stocks move from 52-week highs, 52-week lows, and from the middle. Okay, they move from everywhere. The point is that what I'm looking at here with Soho is a stock that went down from 70 down to 45, and it traded sideways for 2 or 3 weeks. As you can see, 45 was the floor. So all that means, very simply, that all these sellers here, they're pretty much out of the way, or vice versa, the buyer started to step in. Very simply, and the stock made a decent move from 44 to roughly $48 today. CDNA, this is another shakeout, what I consider a shakeout. First and foremost, I got involved here. Stock is down 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. I got involved here going through this high, roughly $6.48. I got hit at 666. Stock goes up immediately. Not much. Goes sideways, still looks okay. Bought the stock again going through this high. The stock made a move immediately, and then I got shaken out right over here, and the stock still looks good. I was just shaken out, and losses do happen. JT, here's another shakeout. Got involved right over here, going through this high. Stock goes up immediately, almost gives me a 7.5% return, but then it goes down and breaks my my breakout day low. Got stopped out, and now it's back on the move. This is a shakeout. Cato never triggered. Sen, here's an IPO. Again, here's the same scan, down 3 days or more in a row. The stock prints an inside day. The buy stop is 24.45. Stock takes off roughly about 27% in a matter of a few days. When you get involved with a swing trade, number one, you want the stock to move up immediately. That just tells you you're in the right stock. It's just that simple. They're all not going to work out, but that's exactly what you want. That tells you you're in the right stock and your timing is okay as well. So this one was a great one. Google, here's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. Long. I anticipated here at 10.55. Stock goes through the high. So normally once you get used to these type of plays, where the stock is down multiple days in a row, what you want to see is at the very end, you want to see the candles get smaller and smaller. And what I did here is that I nibbled at the 20-day moving average, okay? I could have taken more advantage of this trade had I put a buy stop for the additional shares at 10.58.15. Either way, it was a great move. I sold here on the way up, maybe up about 25 points. MMYT, the trigger price was right over here. I didn't take this stock, but it did okay, but then it sold off. Soho we spoke about, CDNA we spoke about, Zillow didn't trigger on the day that we were looking at. But either way, it's the same exact scan, down 3 days in a row. You're looking for a move that goes to the previous day highs. MCB is a Bitcoin play. I got involved right over here. This is the bank that they haven't said it, but supposedly these are the guys that handle the wires for Coinbase. So this looks okay. So we spoke about GLYC. Here's a scan, down 3 days in a row, printed inside day. Buy stop is 17.30. Stock is up nice, roughly about 10% from that buy stop. TXRH, again, same exact thing, down 3 days in a row, and then it just takes off. And again, the key is, in order for you to know what works best, you need to figure out what your time frame is. If your average time in a stock is roughly 20 days, what you want to do is study the stocks that perform the best, in a 20-day period. Every week, run a scan, best performing stocks in the last 20 days, and what you want to do is you want to start looking for similarities, okay? And that's how you create scan, and that's how you know what works and what doesn't work, what's true and what's not true. Because you can read a lot of books in regards to trading that were written years ago. I think the best information is actually studying what's happening now, what's working now, based on your time frame. If your time frame is roughly, 21 days, there's no reason for you to look at, the characteristics of stocks that perform the best in a 2-year period. No, you look at the stocks that perform best within your time frame, and that's how you start picking up clues. And that's the reason why when you look at some of my charts, some of my buy stops, they're not your cookie cutter charts where they have to break out the most previous high. No. And the reason why they're a little different because I study the charts, I study the best performing stocks in the short term, and that's how I create my scans, and that's how I look at my charts. QD, here's another one. Right here at the bottom, these yellow arrows is when I went long the stock. None of them made me money. Got stopped out in the very small. The last stop out was right over here. And it still looks okay. I'm not in it. But it looks all right. JT we spoke about. NVCR, good looking chart. Long at 2078 through this high still looks okay. And if it breaks out, this 21 level it can go. OLED, the stock was down. We got involved right over here. The stock prints an inside day. Inside days are big for me, specifically with large liquid growth name like an OLED because it rarely happens. But either way, the buy stop was 176.45 and went up to 182.50 immediately. No follow through as of yet, but I flagged this stock for Monday because it printed another inside day and it looks constructive here. They report on the 22nd. They make a lot of money. They have great earnings and sales growth. So this is probably one that might run until their earnings report. Overstock was a big one. These arrows is when we got long. Right over here, 12.21 at 62 and change. More over here, and then this one previous buy stop was 65.50, down 3 days in a row. So we got long here, and it's been a big mover, and I've sold on the way up. Roku we spoke about. This is so far it's been a shakeout. HX. We had it here going through this high, had a big move, sold off immediately, still looks okay. Chinese company, just like Sohu, just like QD, just like JT, at the bottom end of the price chart. But these things can go. SFIX, this is very similar to SEN that we spoke about earlier. SFIX. Fairly new IPO, sideways for a while, big update, comes back down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Buy stop through this high, 24.93 plus 10 cents, 25.03, still looks okay. We're long stock. PODD, it's been on the list for the last couple of days, has not triggered. DF on the list for a few days, did not trigger. GCAP, this was a big winner for us. This was a stock of the week on 12.5 right over here. We flagged it over here again as 718 to 737, and it was a big move. And this looks okay. I mean, it's sold off. I took a bulk off here, missed a 75% sale by 10 cents on this day, and then took the rest off. But I'm back in, and I like the stock, the way the stock is... I wouldn't say digesting, but the way it's flattening out here, the 10-day is catching up. I like the stock. MGTI, another Bitcoin play. Had it yesterday in the list and also today. Did not trigger yesterday, but triggered today. Went through this high, 475. Looks okay. RDFN, I like the stock. Down 3 days in a row. Took a nibble here. As it was down 3 days in a row to the 20-day moving average. Bought more today as it went through 28, and the stop goes here at 26.60. ZGNX, this is a high tie flag which was holding up well. Long right over here, almost 15%, and then it just sold off. Sold right over here, pretty much a little less than break even. This was looking good. SSC. Another Bitcoin play. This was a stock of the week. If you guys don't subscribe to the Stock of the Week, it's a free report. I don't have a Stock of the Week every week, but we've had some huge winners. SSC at $2.20, Grow at $2.20, GCAP at $8, Cool at $11, a bunch of names. This is a Bitcoin play. Looks okay. I nibbled yesterday a little bit here at the 20-day moving average. I printed an inside day. So this stock, I'm going to flag this stock for Monday, and I'm going to be able. I'm going to want to buy it going through 450. And then today's list, SRAX, nice move. Buy stop right over here, going through 545, long at 550. 2 cents away from a 15% move, which I had an order to sell. So I'm at 15%, missed it by 2 cents, but it's still up 10% for the day. FANG printed an inside day. Got involved today, 695, decent move. MGTI we spoke about. This did not go. Pod didn't trigger. Cub didn't trigger. However, on a weekly chart, this Cub looks great. Sideways for roughly 7 years, between 40 and 56, 40 and 56, 40 and 56. Finally breaks. Pulls back a little. I like the stock a lot, going through $59.95 on a weekly basis with a stop at the low here, $57, call it. SIEB, another Bitcoin play, triggered today, got involved. It might need more time, but either way, got involved here, and it looks okay. Weight Watchers did not trigger, but this is an okay setup. It's getting kind of loose here, but it printed an inside day. I'm going to have this on my list for Monday, going through this high. And it's been trading sideways for a while. It's been going sideways for about 5 months. So it looks okay. Grow printed an inside day yesterday, the day before yesterday. Triggered today, but sold off. Another Bitcoin play. This was a stock of the week, right over here. Had a big move, sold the bulk of it, bought it back over here, then sold here. This has been this was a great winner for us in 2017. DF didn't trigger, and Riot, another Bitcoin play, down 3 days in a row through this high. I flagged this stock in the afternoon, and it did not go through the high again as it did in the morning. So again, what you want to do is very simply, in the short term, I'm a big believer the stocks move in momentum burst. What does that mean? Let me just give you an example. Here, the stock goes up for 4, 5, 6, 8, whatever, 5, 6, 7 days in a row, and then it goes sideways. It'll set up again, and they'll make another burst and go sideways again. This is not what typically happens with a stock where they go straight up. They typically go up for 5 to 6 days, and then they'll go sideways to down, and then they set up again. And that's exactly what I'm looking to take advantage of, all within a passive portfolio of some core ETF holdings. I am not a believer in swing trading your entire account, but I do believe in taking a portion of it and swing trading in order to very simply try to outperform. And what we're looking to do is just take advantage of the market structure, okay? Stocks tend to move in momentum bursts. That's just simple market structure. They also tend to mean revert after they're down a few days in a row. That's just all market structure. It has nothing to do with what the company does. So either way, I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. So trade them well and be well. And hopefully you guys have a great 2018.